Shavers, how you doing? Another episode with Adil. Today I've got a unique guest. He's actually one of the main campaigners against the No Outsiders program. You're one of the main campaigners for the Parkfield Parents Community organisation, right? Yeah. You're heading this protest against the implementation of the No Outsiders program, which we know Andrew Moffat has implemented and introduced over the last few years. What is the issue?
I think this simply isn't sufficient interaction and debate between us as a more conservative community and the wider community. And in fact, this protest itself, or this campaign itself, has created a lot of debate. Mm-hmm. And I think if we are honest and sincere people, we will understand each other as human beings. And there isn't a question of clashing culture, right?
There's a clash in values.
Clash in values, clash in culture, clash in conservatism, if you like. Because if you are sincere and honest, you will value human values, and human values are pretty universal. It doesn't matter which community you're from.
So are you basically, in a nutshell, accusing Andrew Moffat of being insincere and dishonest?
I am, absolutely I am, yeah. Because in fact, in his book, he writes that there's no more homophobia in school. Mm-hmm. So now he's going about having an LGBT way of life being accepted. Mm-hmm. And what it means when he says that, as far as homosexuality is concerned, that he's teaching children it's okay to be gay. That acceptance that he's referring to means that he wants the children to feel that it is morally okay.
But he wants the children to feel that it's okay to be gay, the way it's okay to be Muslim, the way it's okay to be black, the way it's okay to be disabled, the way it's okay to be a woman, right? That's his point.
No, it's not actually. It's very insidious, in fact. He wants them to believe that it's okay to be homosexual as a sexual relationship, and that's what his program leads on to. Mm-hmm. For me and you, we understand what it means. When we say it's okay to be gay, it's perfectly okay to have a gay relationship legally. Mm-hmm. It's also perfectly okay to have a gay relationship morally as well in some parts of our society. Mm-hmm. But it's morally absolutely wrong to teach our children that it's morally okay to be gay when they're from a background that doesn't believe that it's morally okay to be gay. That is just wrong.
Well, this goes back to the whole issue of clash of values, and the reality is we're living in the UK and the British value system is now being implemented as such, which he speaks a lot about in his book.
No, I'm sorry.
Acceptance for all, the Equality Act, whether it be transgender, whether it be racial, whether it be your gender, whether it be your sex, whether it be your disability, your age.
Well, then you don't understand British values. British values is about mutual respect and tolerance. That is what British values is about. Mm-hmm. Right, so that you can coexist. Having different moral positions, having different faiths, different races, you can coexist in the same society and respect each other. That's what mutual respect and tolerance is, and that's what British values is. And Mr. Moffat is not promoting that at all. Mm-hmm. He's promoting his own moral values on our children.
Okay, so you're saying as a religious community, a Muslim community, the parents have a right to object to this particular lifestyle.
No, every parent in Britain has a right to have its children educated according to its moral values. Every parent in Britain has that, mm-hmm. right? Except our community.
When you say our community,
here in Allenborough.
In Allenborough.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, and also similar communities across the country, right? Our family values. They are traditional family values. They are simply ignored. They are not respected.
Is it okay? Well, I hear a lot about tradition and when you were younger, etc., etc. Is this just like a generation gap? Is it the fact that we're just not moving on with the times and we're not ready as a community to accept that homosexual part of society?
No,
whether you like it or not.
I don't think there is a generation gap. There are a lot of our. Fatima and Maryam, mm-hmm. are young mums, mm-hmm. right? I'm perhaps from an older generation.
I didn't mean to make
my,
exposure to your age.
my father, is obviously from another generation,
Mm-hmm.
but these are contemporary generation. These mums.
But this is about 21st century Britain, and it's got to accommodate a liberal secular democracy has to accommodate for everyone's needs, right? This is the problem. This is the conundrum, right? You're gonna get clashes at times, right?
So this liberal democracy society is not prepared to accept the traditional communities with the traditional family values.
Ahmed, let's be real. Religion is dying in the UK. How many people, whether you talk about British people now, would say, okay, well, I'm a Christian. But in reality, the majority of British people we meet, a lot of people just aren't religious.
Right, so
they don't really have care for religion.
So what does that mean? That you just trample over community like ours, trample over their values and their morals and their way of life?
Look, I'm struggling to understand this idea of what British values means to you. Because it's a very subjective thing, it seems, but how the government have outlined it, right, in the education system on Ofsted, that there's actual clear definition of British values, right? So when you speak about intolerance, in fact, of the community, the Muslim community at Parkfield, and the parents that want to withdraw their kids, when the LGBT community would say, ironically, well, no, you're being intolerant of us. You're not willing to tolerate the fact that our education and our existence should even be acknowledged in the education system.
No, that's not true at all. British values is about respecting democracy and having a mutual respect and tolerance for people with different views.
Yeah, but you don't write that textbook. I don't write that textbook. That's written by, obviously, or decided by the overarching government, the culture, in terms of the context of schooling, the education, Ofsted. They're the ones that decide what British values are, right?
But this is what British values is. It's about respecting democracy. Look, we're not saying that we don't teach children about LGBT people or deny their existence. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous.
Okay, so
right? What we're saying at this age, we've got to find a way to be able to preserve our children's morality. Right? Or our moral position on this issue, and there's no issue about teaching our children about LGBT, but it's how you do it.
So now you're saying it's not about teaching about LGBT, but it's the method in which they do it.
See, because people sort of say that we want to deny the existence of LGBT.
Yeah, of course.
That's absolutely ridiculous. We don't want to deny that. The issue is about morality, and it's about preserving each person's position on this issue with reference to morality.
Okay, but I'm a bit confused now, because in one instance you've got this whole kind of protest against the no outsiders and how it's an issue of morality, and for you the main issue is that it's young children from the ages of 5, 6.
Yes.
Primary school age.
That's right.
But then how should they be taught about LGBT then? Because they exist. They're going to meet people from that community when they grow up.
Children at that age really actually don't really care whether you're black or blue or whether you're gay or not gay. They don't appreciate that at all. All they appreciate is kindness. Whoever's kind to them, they'll be kind to.
But then isn't that an argument for teaching and implementing the No Outsiders program? Because who cares anyway, right?
No Outsiders is not teaching that. It's changing their morality. I mean, I'll tell you what will teach that.
I've seen some of the lesson plans in the book, and I understand the idea of it's okay to be different, diversity. Not judging others.
It's okay to be gay and lesbian, basically, right? And that's what it's pushing. In fact, 30%. At least 30% of his material, the books that he suggested, there's about 35 books, are about LGBT. And in fact, all of them can be used to teach LGBT values. So, where's the equality in that?
Do we have a problem integrating in British culture, do you think?
Hazel Pulley, she did a presentation to government on No Outsiders as being a tool to de-radicalise children.
Right.
And this is the chief executive officer for the academy, the Parkfield School Academy, and she's the one who's presenting her children as potential radicals. Right. I mean, that's just shocking.
Mm-hmm.
That a head teacher of our school or should be presenting our children as potential radicals.
Okay, so the no outsiders, you feel the issue is the age. It's not age appropriate to teach it primary school kids.
Well, I think the material needs to be re-looked at. And how you would go about teaching LGBT issues in primary school.
Should it be taught then to an extent or not at all?
To be honest, we haven't reached that yet in this campaign because the schools simply will not have not been talking to us. But incidentally, I will let me also tell you that the school is in consultations.
Okay.
My views here are my own personal views. I'm not giving them to you as.
You're not representing everyone from
well, I'm not speaking for the campaign on an official sort of statement or anything.
Okay.
These are my personal views. But we are in consultations now with next week we will have our first consultation meeting. We're not protesting next week.
Okay.
We have been protesting practically every week.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
We cancelled a protest, not this week, but previous week, because we had a meeting. The DFE organised a mediation.
The Department of Education.
All right, Department of Education, yeah.
A mediation. So, look, this is what I want to ask now. It seems like you're protesting. The protests haven't stopped. What is the objectives, or what are the objectives of the protest? What do you want from the school?
Well, we want the no outsiders to be abolished, and we look at a new program.
Okay, you want no outsiders to be abolished for the reasons you've given, and to have a new program. There's got to be a middle ground. Where do you compromise? Because from one end, I can imagine.
To be honest, I don't think there's an issue of middle ground. Mr. Andrew Moffat has been just outrageous in what he has done. Quite honestly, it has been discriminatory, once his program is abolished, we can properly implement equality in there. What he is implementing is simply not equality. You just need to look in detail at his program, what he is doing, and it's very clear. And in fact, most people who have spoken in public, they have simply not looked at his program in detail. His program is heavily weighted towards LGBT teaching. It's not equally weighted. He doesn't mention race and religion in his. There's no mention of that in his books that he suggests.
He doesn't mention race and religion.
Race and religion, and or disability, I believe.
In the introduction, he mentions that he tries to cover that as part of the diversity and difference. But in the actual lesson plans, you're saying?
In the books that he's using, there's none of that. Right now, and he's designed this as an ethos where it's cross curricular, and that's what's insidious about this.
So you think it's like it's used as a backdoor in order to get the LGBT agenda in there?
Absolutely,
okay.
It is. That's right, and he's using the Equality Act as a vehicle to promote, proselytize homosexuality onto young minds.
There's no compromise on the fact that you want no outsiders to be abolished.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. But is there a compromise at least on the fact that the LGBT community need to at least be acknowledged in the ethos and the curriculum of the school?
Well, look, I mean, I think it's finding a way to do that where the children's morality is still preserved. And I think that can be done.
That can be done?
I think so.
Where everyone can be happy?
I think everyone can be happy.
Right.
Everyone who are reasonable, honest and sincere, I think can be happy.
So
and I think there are people like that in the LGBT community, but Mr. Moffat doesn't seem to be one of them.
Do you have any, I want to ask you that, do you have any supporters from the LGBT community? Because I can't imagine you would have.
To be honest, I mean, I have to be honest, I have been meeting the LGBT community for the past 2 weeks. Some of those people that I've met did actually come to the conference as well yesterday. And I think that interaction is good.
Yes.
I don't have, you know, a wide set of friends from that, you know, that part of our society.
You encourage maybe a lot of them. Maybe it might be a good idea for the Muslim parents to maybe meet some from the LGBT community.
Yeah, I mean,
because you know there's a stigma attached, and
is,
homophobia is real, right?
I think, and that's what was happening.
Precisely.
That was what was happening yesterday at our conference. You know, we had parents mixing and talking with the members from the LGBT community yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's good because it helps to give us their perspective and to understand them, and it helps us to give them our perspective and for them to understand us. And I think that's important. I mean, this. You know, I think if we are, if you are sincere about these consultations, and you know, believe me, the parents are sincere. And if the school is also sincere about it, we can definitely find a solution. I don't think there's any problem with that. I don't think there's any difficulty doing so.
Amir, I appreciate your time. It's
you.
been a pleasure. You know, I appreciate you coming out, trying to educate us about this issue. I know it's not been easy. I know there's a lot to do, but we're going to keep following the news to find out where the resolution is going to be, because it needs some form of resolution indeed.
Yep. Okay.
Thanks again. Okay, make sure guys follow. Don't forget to follow, like and subscribe to the channel. Very important. See you next time. God bless.